Kingdom music.
Shalom, family, in the name of Yeshua, Jesus Christ. It's your brother, the preacher, and this is Torah Nuggets. So we've moved into our next part of our Torah parasha or portions, which is Balak, Numbers 22:2 through 25:9. So let's get right into it. Balak, Numbers 22 through 24, recants this story of Balak and Balaam and their failed attempts to curse the Jewish people. The Torah records how, after being thoroughly humiliated by his talking donkey, Balaam, the non-Jewish sorcerer and prophet, commissioned by Balak, king of Moab, to curse the Jews, found himself incapable of cursing them. Instead, he bestowed on the Jews 4 tremendous blessings, some of which we even recite in our prayers today, and the last, which foretells the messianic redemption, which we're going to talk about all of that in these next coming videos. I still have to go back because I still need to talk about snakes from this double portion from Hukat and Balak. But I would like to focus in a little bit on Balak because we've been talking about it, and I need to cover some ground. There's so much richness in these portions that we can draw from for today. Amen. Balak, the name of the Moabite king in the days of Moses, it is also the name of the 40th reading of the Torah. It comes from the second verse of this Torah portion. I'm gonna back up just one verse so we can get the context of where the children of Israel are. And the children of Israel set forward and pitched in the plains of Moab. Moab is the incestuous son of Lot, on this side of the Jordan by Jericho. And Balak, the son of Zippor, saw that Israel had done to the Amorites, and the Moab was sore afraid of the people because there were many, and Moab was distressed because of the children of Israel. And Moab said to the elders of Midian, "Now shall this country lick up all that are around about us, as the ox licketh up the grass of the field." And Balak, the son of Zippor, was king of the Moabites at this time. And he sent messengers before unto Balaam, the son of Peor, to Bethel, which is by the river of the land of the children of Israel, to call him, saying, "Behold, this is a people come out of Egypt, and behold, they cover the face of the earth, and they abide over against him. Come now, please come. Therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people, for they are too mighty for me. Peradventure I shall prevail. Peradventure I shall prevail, that we may smite them, and that I may drive them out of the land. For I would that he whom hath blessed is blessed, and he whom thou cursest is cursed." Well-known sorcerer here. Whoever you bless will be blessed, and whoever you curse will be cursed. And the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the rewards of divination in their hand. And they came unto Balaam and spake unto him the words of Balak. And he said unto them, "Lodge here this night, that I may bring word again, as the Lord shall speak unto me." And the princes of Moab abode with Balaam. And God came unto Balaam and said, what men are these with thee? And Balaam said unto God, Balak, the son of Zippor, king of Moab, hath sent unto me, saying, behold, this people come out of Egypt, which cover the face of the earth. Come now, curse me them. Peradventure I shall be able to overcome them and drive them out. And God said unto Balaam, thou shalt not go with them. Thou shalt not curse the people, for they are blessed. And Balaam rose up in the morning and said unto the princes of Balak, get you into your land, for the Lord refuseth to give me leave to go with you. And the prince of Moab rose up, and the princes of Moab rose up and went unto Balak and said unto Balaam, Balaam refuses to come with us. And Balak sent again princesses, and more honorable than they. And they came to Balaam and said to him, thus saith Balak, the son of Zippor, let nothing, pray thee, hinder thee from coming unto me, for I will promote thee very great honor, and I will do whatever thou sayest unto me. Come therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people. And Balaam answered and said to the servants of Balak, if Balak would give me this house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the word of the Lord my God to do this or less. Now therefore I pray you, tarry here also here this night, that I may know what the Lord will say unto me more. And God came unto Balaam at night and said unto him, if the men come and call thee, rise up and go with them. But yet the word which I say unto thee, that thou shalt do. And Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his ass and went with the princes of Moab. And God's anger was kindled because he went. And the angel of the Lord stood in the way of the adversary against him. Now he was riding upon his ass, and the two servants were with him. And the ass saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And the ass turned aside out of the way and went into a field. And Balaam smote the ass and turned her into the way. But the angel of the Lord stood in the pathway of the vineyards, a wall being on this side and a wall on that side. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she thrusted herself unto the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, and he smote her again. And the angel of the Lord went further and stood in the narrow place, where there was no way to turn, neither to the right or to the left. And when the ass saw the angel, she fell down under Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with a staff. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, and she said unto Balaam, what have I done unto thee, that thou hast smitten me 3 times? And Balaam said unto the ass, because thou hast mocked me. I would there were a sword in my hand, now I would kill thee. And the ass said to Balaam, am I not thine ass, upon which thou hast ridden ever since I was thine, unto this day? Was I ever wont to do so unto thee? And he said, nay. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his sword drawn in hand, and he bowed his head and fell flat on his face. And the angel of the Lord said unto him, wherefore hast thou smitten thine ass these 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand thee, because thy way is perverse before me. As the ass saw me and turned from me, these 3 times, unless she had turned from me. Surely now I had slain thee and saved her life. And Balaam said unto the angel of the Lord, I have sinned, for I knew not that thou stoodest in the way against me. Now therefore, if it please thee, I will get me back again. And the angel of the Lord said to Balaam, Go with the men, but only the word that I speak unto thee, that shall speak. So Balaam went with the princesses of Balak. Balak heard that Balaam was come, and he went to meet him unto the city of Moab, which is at the border of Arnon, which is at the utmost coast. And Balak said unto Balaam, Did I not earnestly send unto thee to call thee? Wherefore comest not thou unto me? Am I not able indeed to promote thee to the honor, or with honor? And Balaam said to Balak, Lo, I am come unto thee. I have I now any power at all to say anything? The word that God putteth in my mouth, that shall I speak. And Balaam went with Balak, and they came to Kirjath Husot. And Balak offered oxen and sheep, and sent Balaam and the princesses that were with him. And it came to pass on the morrow that Balak took Balaam and brought him up into the high places of Baal, that thence he might see the utmost part of the people. And Balaam said on chapter 23, and Balaam said unto Balak, Build me here 7 altars, and prepare me them 7 oxen, 7 rams. And Balak did as Balaam had spoken. And Balak and Balaam offered on every altar bullock and ram. And Balaam said to Balak, Stand by thy burnt offering, and I will go. Peradventure, the Lord will come to meet me, and whatsoever he showeth me, I will tell thee. And he went on high place, and God met Balaam, and said unto him, I have prepared 7 altars, and I have offered unto thee on every altar bullock and ram. And the Lord put a word in Balaam's mouth, and said, Return unto Balak, and thou shalt speak. And he returned unto him, and lo, he stood by his burnt sacrifice, and he said all the princes of Moab, he stood by his burnt offering, he and all the princes of Moab. And he took up his parable and said, Balak, the king of Moab, hath brought me from Aram out of the mountains of the east, saying, Come, curse me, Jacob. Come, defy Israel. How shall I curse whom God hath not cursed? Or how shall I defy whom the Lord has not defied? For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone, and shall not be reckoned among the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob, and number the 4th part of Israel? Let me die the death of a righteous, and let my last end be like this. And Balak said to Balaam, What hast thou done unto me? I took thee to curse mine enemies, and behold, thou hast blessed them altogether. And he said, Must I not take heed to speak that which the Lord hath put in my mouth? And Balak said unto him, Come, I pray thee, with me unto another place, whence thou mayest see them. Thou shalt see but the utmost part of them, and thou shalt not see them all. Curse me then from thence. And he brought him into the field of Zophim, to the top of Pisgah, and built 7 altars, and offered a bullock and ram on every part. And he said unto Balak, stand here by the burnt offering, while I meet with the Lord yonder. And the Lord met Balaam, and put a word in his mouth, and said, go again unto Balak, and say thus. And when he came unto him, behold, stood by the burnt offering, and the princesses of Moab with him. And Balak said unto him, what hath the Lord spoken? And he took up this parable, and said, rise up, Balak, and hear. Hearken unto me, thou son of Zippor. God is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do? Or hath he spoken, shall he not make good? Behold, I've received command to bless, and he hath blessed, and I cannot reverse it. He hath not held iniquity in Jacob, neither hath he seen perverseness in Israel. The Lord his God is with him, and the shout of the king is among them. God brought them out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of an unicorn. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to, man, I feel the anointing. Woo! According to this time, it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, what hath God wrought? Behold, the people shall rise up as a great lion, and lift up himself as a young lion. He shall not lie down until he eat of the prey, and drink of the blood of the slain. And Balak said unto Balaam, neither curse them at all, nor bless them at all. But Balaam answered and said unto Balak, told not I thee, saying, all that the Lord speaketh, that I must do? And Balak said unto Balaam, come, I pray thee, and bring thee unto another place, and peradventure I will please, and it will please God, that thou mayest curse me them from thence. And Balak brought Balaam unto the top of Peor, that looketh toward Jeshimon. And Balaam said unto Balak, build me 7 altars, and prepare me them 7 bullocks and 7 rams. And Balak did all Balaam had said, and offered a bullock, a ram on every altar. And when Balaam said that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel, and he would not at other times to seek enchantment, but he set his face toward the wilderness. And Balaam lifted his eyes, and he saw Israel abiding in his tents according to their tribes, and the Spirit of God came upon him. And he took up this parable and said Balaam the son of Beor hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said, he hath said, which heard the words of God, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. How goodly are the tents of Jacob, and the tabernacles of Israel, as the valley are they spread forth, as gardens by the riverside, as the trees of line aloes, which the Lord hath planted, and as cedars trees beside the waters. He shall pour the water out of the buckets, and his seed shall be in many waters, and his king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. God brought him forth out of Egypt. He hath as it were the strength of an unicorn. He shall eat up the nations, his enemies, and shall break their bones, and pierce them through the arrows. He crouched down and lie down as a lion, as a great lion. Who shall stir him up? Blessed is he that blesseth thee, and cursed is he that curseth thee. And Balak anger was kindled against Balaam, and he smote his hands together. And Balak said unto Balaam, I called thee to curse mine enemies, and behold, thou hast altogether blessed them these 3 times. Therefore now flee thou this place. I thought to promote thee unto great honor, but lo, the Lord hath kept thee back from honor. And Balaam said unto Balak, Spake I not thou to thy messengers, which thou sent unto me, saying, If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the commandment of the Lord, to do either good or bad, or in mine own mind. But what the Lord saith, that I will speak. I'm going to slow up here. Hold on. And now, behold, I go unto my people. Come therefore, and I will advertise thee what this people shall do to thy people in the latter days. And then he picks up another parable, which I believe here. Let's read it. And he took this parable, and Balaam said and Balaam the son of Peor said, hath said, and the man whose eyes are open, and said, He hath said, which heard the words of God, and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw a vision of the Almighty falling into a trance, but having his eyes open, I see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Sheth. And Edom shall be a possession, and Sheir also shall be a possession for his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth in the city. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable, and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. And he looked at the Kenites, and he took up this parable, and said, Strong is thy dwelling place, and thou puttest thy nest in a rock. Nevertheless, the Kenite shall be wasted until Ashur shall carry thee away captive. And he took up this parable, and said, Alas, who shall live when God doeth this? And the ship shall come from the coast of Chittim, and shall afflict Ashur, and afflict Eber, and he also shall perish forever. And Balaam rose up and went and returned to his place, and Balak went his way. Man, that's we got like 20 some odd minutes of reading in there. This Torah reading tells the story of Balak hired a cult prophet Balaam to lay a curse on Israel. Balaam meets resistance from God, has a conversation with his donkey, and ends up blessing instead of cursing. Let's see what the notes say. It was the year 2488 from creation, and the Jewish people had spent 40 years in the desert, and they're finally prepared to enter the promised land. And they came to the border of Moab. In the previous Torah portion, Miriam and Aaron die, just so you know. And the Moabites were terrified of the Jews, especially after their defeat of Emori, the Moabite guardians. Politics makes strange bedfellows, so altogether natural enemies. Moab and Midian banded together and appointed the Midianite Balak. Balak The name Balak means waster, destroyer. And let's look really quick again. Man, there's a lot here. There's just a lot. He's the son of Zippor. Zippor, if you break that down, you don't even have to break it down. Zippor is the Hebrew word for bird. For bird. So the waster. Man, I'm going to slow up here because there's just a lot. The waster sends message to the prophet. Now, yeah, you see that the prophet, well-renowned prophet, he's speaking to God. Balaam was a renowned prophet. King Balak of the Moabites had heard of his fame, and he was ready to pay handsomely to the prophet's words of cursing. Balak was so confident in Balaam's supernatural abilities that he said unto him, "For I know whom you bless will be blessed, and whom you curse will be cursed." But who is Balaam? A cursory reading of Balaam's story might lead a person to believe that Balaam was a, a fairly decent fellow. He apparently knew the Lord, consulted with him, and attempted to obey his instructions. Rather than cursing Israel, Balaam blessed Israel 3 times. He seemed to have a God-fearing person. Speak only what God puts in your mouth, he says. Whatever the Lord speaks, that I must do. That impression of Balaam does not match the description of him that arises in tradition Judaism. When commenting on the Balaam story, and Balaam is not my people. Balaam, not my people in Hebrew. That's not my person. It may seem like he's my person, but he's not my person. The casting of him in a worst possible light, they ascribe all sorts of immorality and lewdness to him. Almost an entire page in the Talmud is dedicated to discussing his wickedness. In those discussions, the sages admit that they are uncertain about whether or not heathens will have a place in the world to come. But they were certain that Balaam will not. They said Balaam alone will not enter the world to come. The wicked, like Balaam, shall be sent to hell. After reading the Torah portion and comparing Balaam therein with the Balaam described by the rabbis, you might feel that traditional characterization of the prophet is slanderous. However, it was not just the rabbis who perceived Balaam wicked man, the apostles. And we did a reading on Jude. If you go back to some of the videos, we did Jude. So the apostolic community also had a very low opinion of him. The epistles contain several allusions to Balaam that are no more flattering than the descriptions of the rabbis. Yeshua refers to those who eat sacrifice to idols and commit acts of sexual immorality are described are disciples of Balaam or Bilam, not my people. Revelations 2:14. Peter compares false prophets with the men of Bilam, having eyes full of adultery that never cease from sin, enticing unstable souls, having the heart tainted in greed, accursed children, forsaking the right way. They have gone astray, having followed the way of Balaam. the son of Peor. You know what it's not my people. And man, let me look at it really quick. So Bilam, son of Beor, right? A lamp, Beor, of or is light. Beor is, or Ba'ar is to kindle or consume. And even even it it demonstrates to be brutish. He was very brutish. But what's interesting in like Spanish, right? Peor, peor. He was he and he brought him to a place called Peor. Peor is worse, to be worse. Peor. Man, I start getting into these things. The way of Balaam. They have gone astray, having followed the way of Balaam, the son of Beor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness. So when we were reading, what did God say? What did God say? God said, I stood in your way because your heart, your ways are not right. I told you to go. But the motive, he still had this, although God, sorry, Balak tells me that he'll fill my house with silver and gold, and I will not go. I will not. I'll only say what God will say. But really, his ways, he was still thinking in his heart about the money, about the money, about the money. Man, there's a lot in my heart that I want to say. But he received a rebuke for his own transgressions, for a mute donkey, speaking with the voice of a man, restrained the madness of the prophet. 2 Peter 2:14 through 16. Jude, the brother of the master, makes a similar comparison. He gives several examples of the worst types of godless people that appear in the Torah, including Cain, Korah, and Balaam. Men who are exhibited as examples in undergoing the punishment of eternal fire. Jude 1:7. Jude says, woe to them, for they have gone in the way of Cain, for the pay they have rushed headlong in the era of Balaam. Money will cause you to do some dumb things. Perish in the rebellion of Korah. The sages and the apostles agree Balaam was a bad guy, and the book of Joshua refers to him as a diviner. That is a person who uses magic and reads omens and signs, and he is not a prophet of God. He was a sorcerer. So why does Balaam seem like such a decent, God-fearing fellow in the Torah portion? We study the story, and we will pay careful attention to observe the real Balaam. And I'm going to slow up there, and we're going to continue, right? We're going to talk about false prophets, end time false prophets. That's what it's going to be. Introduction to the Torah portion of Balak. But listen, I'm going to make a correlation because, I mean, obviously, talking about false prophets and things and people leading astray. But look at this, how the king of Balak, the waster, sends message, Zippor, a little birdie, to a renowned prophet, and seems like he's a, a God-fearing person. No, he's a dang sorcerer. The government, the government wants to curse the people. Man, here we go. The government wants to curse the people. And just like they did in 2020, they sent a, they sent a false they sent false people to give false information to the people. But who God bless, no man can curse. And ultimately they had to come and man, we can't curse these people. We can't curse. We can't curse these people. We can't destroy them. We try to destroy them. We try to lock them down. There's too many of them. There's too many of them. There's too many of them. God has blessed his people. And in the next chapter, the children of Israel, they fall into sexual immorality. It's because of Balaam. And we're gonna study Balaam. We're gonna follow this book because it's important for us to understand that many people are going to try to come and waste away the people. What did it say in the book of Daniel about the that antichrist spirit to wear out the saints, trying to wear out the saints? But who God bless, no man can. We're going to rise up like a lion. Man, we love you, family. It's the start of this Torah portion. Balak, the great waster, the destroyer, the destroyer. We love you. Support the ministry. $3 John 1 5. Subscribe to the channel. Stuff coming out. We don't have a Saturday service. We'll try to do something in the morning. Maybe in the afternoon. I don't know. Keep your notifications on. We love you, family.